right and left, right and left. Hey there, fabulous dancer, and welcome back to my channel. Or if this is the first time that you are joining me, welcome. I am so excited to share the dance floor with you. In today's video, we are going to be looking at another in the top 10 moves that every belly dancer must know series, and we will be learning the Maya. So grab your hip scarf and let's get dancing. My name is Sahira, and I'm here to teach you the beautiful art of belly dance. The Maya is a slow and snaky movement of the hips, a figure eight vertically up to down, and it is one of my absolute favorite belly dance movements, and soon you will see why. So let's go ahead and dive in. So first, let's make sure you're standing in your home position, especially if you haven't done a lot of belly dancing before. Posture is incredibly important, not only to being able to create the move, but doing the move safely in your body. So I want your feet about hip bone distance apart, yeah, and parallel. Your knees are going to be slightly bent, and we're going to bend and straighten them quite a bit as we create this movement. In order to stay safe with your knees, just make sure that when you do deep knee bends, that you keep your weight a little bit back towards your heels so that your knees don't push forward over the toes, but rather they stay back behind the toes as you bend and straighten them to create this movement. So feet are hip distance width apart. Knees are slightly soft. Pelvis is going to be engaged slightly. So you want to think about taking your tailbone and instead of pointing it to the wall behind you, imagine aiming it slightly more towards the floor by engaging the muscles a little bit beneath your belly button. So you're engaging, protecting your lower back, lengthening your spine. Chest is going to be lifted, shoulders are rolled back and down, neck is tall and proud. The higher you keep the chest lifted off of the hips, the easier it is to isolate. And there's a lot of isolation in belly dance where one part of the body moves a lot and the rest of the body seems like it has no idea that that's happening, right? And this is kind of one of those moves. We are going to drill this Maya and break it down so that the hips do this beautiful figure eight and the body, the upper body, is pretty stationary. So let's get started. Knees are soft. Let's first just play with lifting and dropping the hips. I want you to mostly use your knees for this, right? This is very skeletal. So the knees are bending and straightening. Hips are going up and down because of it. If you'd like to get a little extra oomph in your movement, I invite you to think about squeezing the obliques a little bit to pull the hips up even higher. But this is going to be mostly knee-based, mostly skeletal. We're also going to be using a hip slide side to side. So I want you to imagine now that the hips are stationary in the up and down direction and moving side to side. So knees are slightly soft, but not bending and straightening, and you're reaching your hips towards one wall and then the other. When we take these two basic belly dance isolations and fuse them together, we are going to create the Maya. So let's go ahead and start by lifting the right hip. So I'm straightening the right knee a little bit more than the left, but never locking it, right? So that's a key. You don't want to ever lock that knee because then you're going to start to get a very jerky movement and one that goes up and down in the head where you want to stay fairly even all the way through when you are creating this movement. So squeezing in the oblique if you would like, straightening the knee almost all the way. And now you're going to slide that hip out to the side. All throughout this, chest is staying lifted and proud, shoulders are remaining relaxed, hips are moving without the upper body responding, ideally, right? So we've lifted the right hip and we're sliding it out to the side. From here, what I'd like you to do, keeping your hips slid to the side, right hip here is slightly higher than the left hip here. I want you to switch which hip is higher by using your knees. So right hip comes up, right hip goes down. Yeah, left hip goes down, left hip goes up. When one comes up, the other goes down because of the way they're connected, right? So what you're doing here to create the switch from right hip up to left hip higher, you want to bend the right knee, elongate in the right side, straighten the left knee, but never lock it, and squeeze the left oblique. Let's switch one more time. Switch back to right hip higher, straightening that right knee, bending the left. Now switch again. Bend the right knee, elongate in the right hip, straighten the left knee, not completely, squeeze the left oblique, and now you've switched which hip is higher. Now I want you to drive with the higher hip, the left hip, over to the left with that slide we looked at. So you're merely sliding your hips from right to left. You're going to feel your weight shift to your left, but your left hip stays higher the whole time, and that's super important. So watch that this left hip stays high the whole time. Now, same thing like we did on the other side. Left hip is higher than the right hip. Let's switch which hip is higher and switch again. So you're bending the left knee to lower it, straightening the left knee to lift it. Same thing on the right side. You're going to bend the right knee to lower, straighten it a bit to raise it, and you can get a little extra oomph by squeezing in that right oblique. Switch and switch. Let's do it one more time. Right, left hip is higher, right hip is low. Now we're switching, left hip is lower, right hip is higher, elongating here, and we are ready to start over by sliding back over to the right. Switching which hip is higher, then sliding back over to the left and switching which hip is higher. Right side is high and it leads us to the right. Now switch. Now left side is high and it leads us to the left. Now switch. Right side leads us to the right. Switch. Left side leads us to the left. Now let's talk about some details. This whole time, I want you to think about tucking the pelvis underneath. You might find as you do the movement over and over, your hips start to scooch behind you this way. Watch out for that. You're going to start to feel that in your lower back, and I don't want this to ever be uncomfortable in the lower back. So you're remembering to engage in the pelvis, drawing the hip bones underneath you, drawing the tailbone underneath you a bit, so you have a nice long spine and no crunching in the lower back. The other thing I'd like to sort of add to this texturally, when you get to the side, instead of thinking sort of a vertical switch like piston hips, I want you to think a scoop down and under to create that vertical sort of figure eight feel or that infinity sign. So I'm taking it over and I'm thinking of scooping, carving out space as you switch which hip is higher. So what causes us to be able to do that, what you want to think of, is starting that switch just before you get to the very end and completing it at the farthest right you can go. And then squeezing underneath you with that oblique to take it to the other side. I'm going to start that switch a little bit before I've made it all the way to the side. Continue the scoop, take it back around. Long spine, tuck the pelvis under. Right side goes out, down, switch the hip, squeeze it up. Left goes out, down, switch, squeeze it up. Long spine. Upper body is nice and stationary, right? If you find the upper body's moving a lot, rein in the hips a little bit. See if you can make it a little bit smaller. Or also think about lifting and floating the chest over your hips as opposed to allowing the chest to sit on top of the hips. And then the chest might ride side to side in opposition. Lift that chest up so that it does not create sort of an equal and opposite wave to the other side of the hips, right? So it's floating here. Hips are working on their own. Knees are doing most of this work. Oblique can help with that up over. Knee is creating the down and up. You're keeping the knees back behind the toes, right? Your weight a little bit back towards the heels. Nice long spine, nice long neck, shoulders relaxed. Nice strong arms, air and space under the arms, energy in the fingers. So much to think about. Over to the left. Over to the right. Let's go a little bit faster. We'll go to the left. Now let's do two quick, right and left. Now slow, to the right, then left and right. Then over to the left and right and left. Take it over to the right and left and right. Couple more. To the left, right and left. One last time. To the right, left and right, and relax. How is that going? Once you've had the chance to drill that to your heart's content, we're going to go ahead and put it together with music. When we do it with music, we're going to have fun with it, dance with it a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit of arm movement so we can work on layering, and perhaps we'll even play a little bit with walking with this movement, which feels a little bit different as well. You're going to be able to travel with this by combining that hip squeeze in the oblique to lift the hip with a little bit of a foot movement. So let's go ahead and give it a try with music. Take a deep breath up. 5, 6, 7, 8, right hip. And left. We'll start slow. Make sure there's feeling and expression in the arms, energy in the fingers as you're going up, over, down, switch. Up, over, down, switch. Good. Let's go slow, quick, quick. Slow for 2. Then quick and quick. Now to the left, keeping that chest nice and lifted, keeping the pelvis long, no pain in the lower back as you do this. Slow and quick. Now let's stick with the quick. Right and left, right and left. Good, keep breathing, you got this. Let's take the arms and circle them up and down. Good, keep it going. Take the arms around again. Good, holding the hands at the hips. Right and left. You can get a little wave in the hands that echoes what's happening in the hips, almost like you're pulling your hips side to side, to the right, to the left. Shoulders rolled back and down, neck nice and long, pelvis tucked in. Let's slow it down and work with the feet. Let's step on the right and step on the left. So you can lift your heel now, which makes the movement a little bit different, a little bit airier, a little bit floatier. You might find it a little bit easier, a little bit bigger. Good, let's take a little faster, walk it forward, right and left. Take it back. Let's take it around in a circle, yeah? Bring the arms up if you would like. And circle them. Nice, let's take that circle the other way, arms circling again. Good, and hold it here. Take those feet back to the floor. Glue those heels down to the floor, which requires you to work more in the obliques and the knees. Slow, quick, quick, slow, and quick and quick. Feel free to express with your arms however you would like. Don't forget to breathe. Let's do a couple really slow. Here we go. Let's take one a little bit bigger and step out slightly to the side. And then to the left. Again. Good, bring the feet back down, keep it slow. Good, let's speed it up. Right and left. Nice, can you bend the knees, make it a little bit more low in feel, and then bring it back up. Good, let's try slow, quick, quick here, slow, and quick, slow, and quick, taking those arms for a circle. Good, keep breathing, you got this. Really slow out to the side step, and to the other side. Keep that going, lifting the heel. Put it back underneath you, go for a little walk. Take it back. And strike your pose. Awesome job, fabulous dancer. Nice work. If you enjoyed that tutorial, then you are going to love my 7-day belly dance jumpstart program, an absolutely free 7-day program delivered to your email inbox every single day for 7 days, 7 different short and sweet tutorials that are going to give you the basics of this beautiful art of belly dance and teach you step by step some of the most foundational movements so that you can learn to dance with creativity, ease, and joy, and add some really fantastic movement to your day. So you will definitely want to join me there. Check it out at sahirbellydances.com/jumpstart, and you can get started on a beautiful belly dance journey right away. Thank you so much for sharing the dance floor with me, and I look forward to dancing with you again very soon.